Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a multi-billion-dollar cosmetic industry whose entire business model relies on one very specific goal: making you feel deeply insecure about your natural face and body. In this explainer, we're going to look at exactly how the timeless beauty of the celebrities we all admire is literally manufactured. We'll explore the extreme, sometimes lethal physical dangers hiding right behind the glamour, and break down how this whole system is silently fueling a massive public health crisis. Let's be totally honest with ourselves for a second. When you see actors with perfect bodies, incredibly sharp jawlines, and flawless, blemish-free faces, have you ever caught yourself thinking, man, I wish I had that perfect nose, or I wish my figure looked exactly like that? It's a completely natural reaction. We all do it. But here is the hard truth we need to establish right out of the gate. The perfection you're looking at is very rarely God-gifted. Today, it's doctor-gifted. So let's dive into this and see exactly how widespread this illusion really is. The sheer scale of this is honestly staggering. Over 90% of actors and actresses have undergone cosmetic procedures. 90%. Now, while a lot of them deny it, the open secret behind these ageless faces involves nose jobs, lip fillers, jawline augmentations, Botox, and fat removal surgeries. Some actors like Shruti Hassan and Shilpa Shetty have actually been refreshingly honest about getting rhinoplasty and fillers, but the vast majority? They keep it completely hidden, essentially selling you a fantasy of natural perfection that simply doesn't exist. To really break the spell here, we have to look at the visceral, physical reality of these procedures. Take rhinoplasty, commonly known as a nose job. It sounds like a simple tweak, right? Well, actually, scratch that. It is anything but simple. To change the shape of the nose, a surgeon literally has to remove the top layer of skin, forcefully file down the facial bone, and physically cut or reposition the cartilage inside. It is a highly invasive process, and the physical risk is severe. Even with modern medicine, there's a 5 to 10% chance of complications, which can leave patients with permanent, lifelong trouble breathing. And listen, nobody is immune to these risks, not even the biggest global icons. Take Priyanka Chopra, for example. Back in the early 2000s, during what was supposed to be a routine rhinoplasty, her doctor accidentally cut her nasal bridge. It completely collapsed, her face changed so drastically that she was dropped from 3 major films and plunged into a deep depression. She had to go through multiple agonizing surgeries just to fix the damage. And, the physical toll definitely doesn't stop at the face. Consider breast augmentation. A lot of individuals, including celebrities who eventually chose to get their implants removed, suffer from a terrifying condition known as breast implant illness. The symptoms read exactly like a severe chronic disease: debilitating brain fog, intense chest pain, shortness of breath, and constant agonizing pain in the neck, shoulders, and back. These procedures frequently introduce a heavy, toxic burden onto the human body that patients are just expected to endure in silence. Now, this gets into even more life-threatening territory when we start talking about skin lightening. You'll constantly hear celebrities claim their suddenly lighter complexion is just from drinking a lot of water or staying out of the sun. The reality? It's often glutathione injections. This is a powerful medical treatment originally intended for severe liver disorders and chemotherapy side effects, but because of a lack of regulation, it's dangerously repurposed for cosmetics. If it's administered incorrectly, it causes blood pressure to drop rapidly. Tragically, this exact off-label use caused the fatal cardiac arrest of actress Shefali Jariwala. I want you to just take a second and think about this statistic. 1 in 3,000. That is the mortality rate for the Brazilian butt lift, or BBL, where fat is removed from your body and injected into your buttocks. Out of every 3,000 people who get this surgery, 1 person dies. It is medically recognized as the absolute most dangerous cosmetic surgery on the planet. And yet, shockingly, over the last decade, it has been the fastest growing cosmetic procedure in the world. The crucial takeaway here is understanding the horrifying lethality hiding just beneath that Instagram glamour. When a BBL goes wrong, it is violent and it is immediate. Studies show that 50% of patients who die from this procedure pass away right there, directly on the operating table. The other 50%? They die within just 3 hours of the surgery. People are quite literally risking sudden death just to chase an aesthetic trend they scrolled past on social media. So what does this all mean for us? Well, it brings us straight to the core of the issue: the massive public health crisis this normalization is creating. A study of over 1,200 college girls in Combine Tar revealed a staggering 77% reported being entirely unhappy with their bodies. Just think about how heartbreaking that is for a second. Millions of young people look in the mirror and decide that the way they look, the way their family looks, is inherently flawed. And why? simply because it doesn't match the surgically altered standard beaming out of their screens.
This constant impossible comparison leads directly to severe psychiatric conditions like body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. We aren't just talking about normal, everyday insecurity here. BDD is a devastating mental health condition where a person spends hours every single day obsessing over minor or even completely imagined physical flaws. It completely destroys their self-esteem, severely impacts their ability to just function in daily life, and in extreme cases, it directly leads to suicide.
The ripple effect this has on public health is undeniable, and frankly, it's catastrophic. Global studies from Sweden to Singapore to the UK have linked this culturally enforced body dissatisfaction to severe clinical depression and anxiety. When people feel like they can't meet these fake standards, they develop brutal eating disorders, either starving themselves or binge eating. Plus, this deep dissatisfaction is a proven catalyst for increased smoking, as well as widespread drug and alcohol abuse, as people desperately try to numb their insecurities. But we can't just point fingers at the individuals. We have to look at the structural root cause of all this. This toxicity is enforced from the very top down. Aspiring actors are routinely bullied by industry gatekeepers. Priyanka Chopra was bluntly told by a director that she needed breast, jaw, and butt surgeries if she wanted to succeed. Vijay Balan was pressured by a producer to get a nose job before her very first film. These directors and producers are the ones manufacturing this false standard of what women, and increasingly men, must look like to be deemed worthy. And this culturally enforced insecurity, it's incredibly profitable. It's penetrated everyday society so deeply. India now ranks second in the entire world for rhinoplasty procedures, third in the world for liposuction, and seventh globally for overall cosmetic surgeries. The industry brilliantly leverages the insecurity of the masses, fueled by celebrity culture, to drive millions of everyday people straight into operating rooms. And here is the absolute cruelest joke of the whole thing. The goalposts are completely made up, and they are always moving. Back in the mid-2000s, society demanded this ultra-thin, size 0 figure. People starved themselves, they got liposuction to achieve it. But today, the standard has violently flipped to the Kardashian-influenced hourglass figure, paired with a standardized Instagram face, you know the one, cat-like eyes, a tiny nose, huge lips. If you permanently alter your body for a trend today, you might literally be surgically out of style tomorrow. This pursuit of a homogenized, globalized standard also leads to a tragic amount of cultural erasure. Take the massive trend of Asian double eyelid surgery, for instance. Nearly half of East Asian populations naturally do not have an upper eyelid crease. Yet, double eyelid surgery is incredibly popular, altering natural ethnic features just to simulate larger, westernized eyes. Researchers are quick to point out that this isn't just a personal choice. It's internalized racism, where people are surgically erasing their community's genetic traits to fit an imported standard. So, how do we actually break free from all this? I want to highlight this profound thought from Osho. He described these societal beauty standards as a form of psychological slavery. And it makes sense. The system is quite literally designed to make you miserable, because miserable, insecure people, well, they're much easier to manipulate. They buy the expensive skin creams, they pay for the injections, they consume the media. The true act of rebellion here is radical self-acceptance. We have to remember that the images we scroll past every single day are a multi-layered deception. You are not looking at reality. You're looking at a base layer of surgically enhanced physical features, which is then masked by digital camera filters, refined by heavy photo editing, and now, increasingly, just completely generated by artificial intelligence. Comparing your real, breathing, natural body to a digital composite is a game you are always going to lose. Which leaves us with one final question to really think about as we wrap up this explainer. Are you going to continue to let a fake, multi-billion-dollar illusion dictate your real-life self-worth? The beauty standards being sold to you are lethal, they're constantly shifting, and they're entirely manufactured. True beauty lies in respecting your natural features and your unique heritage. Look at the real people around you, log off the apps, and stop letting a surgical fantasy steal your peace of mind. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.